riding the rails under the moon's glow, wearing my hat with a cigarette in my toe. Loneliness wraps around like a cold night, but I keep moving, got a dream to fight. Pass by the towns, they're all asleep, hoping for a place where I can rest. A train whistle breaks the silence deep, chances to meet some who understand. Sometimes I find a spot to call home, in a boxcar or on a lonely bench. Hope flickers like a flame in the dawn. With strangers, we share what we can, riding the rails with the stars above, hoping for a place where I belong. Through the darkness I'll keep pushing on, riding the rails until I'm strong.
Hello everyone, and welcome to this new episode of the Sanmore Subdivision. Now, as you can see, the format changed again. This is just only temporary. It's just for this video. I just wanted to do a small update video as I'm currently working on a operations video, and I realized that I had a lot of changes on the layout, which will probably be shown in the operations video, and I figured, might as well introduce the changes first. So first of all, you guys must have noticed that I introduced the layout as the Sanmore Subdivision and not the Canadian National Railway Sanmore Subdivision. There's a reason for that. I'll have a little bit more on that in a few minutes. I just wanted to say thank you to everyone who's reached out. I know I've been out of sight for a year and a half now. The past 18 months have been kind of life-changing for me. There's been a lot of changes in my life, ups and downs, good and bad. But things are settling down now, and well, I'm still here. And throughout all this, thanks to having a hobby, I still managed to work a little bit on the layout and keep my sanity. And I did work on the layout sometimes reluctantly because, I'm 58 years old and I'm not going to live forever. And, well, this is massive here and there's a lot of work to do. So sometimes I would just come down here and say, well, I don't want to work on the layout. I have to work on the layout. And I know there's been a lot of podcasts on this, hobby burnout and having a hobby that feels more like a job. And yes, on certain days it doesn't feel like a job. It just feels like work. Like you don't have the energy or you don't have the mindset, but you still have to push through. But I'm glad I did. I have some exciting new things to show you here on the layout. Reverting back to what I just told you about the Canadian National Railways Sanmore Subdivision, there's the first change that I've made. I decided to modify the theme of the layout from modeling this Class 1 railroad to, I'm changing this to a regional short line railroad. So for those of you who follow me on Facebook, you've probably seen my new company, my new railroad of lies, called the Moose Lake Bay Railway. That's still in the works, but that's the plan for the future of this layout. Don't get me wrong, I'm keeping a lot of the CN equipment because I might operate sometimes CN if I get tired of the Moose Lake Bay. So and CN will still have a little bit of presence on the layout in by means of interchange, just like I do with the Canadian Pacific here. So I'm keeping my CN equipment and we'll probably run it once in a while. But the Moose Lake Bay Railway regional short line is going to be the future future actor on this scene here. Other things, like I said, there's been a lot of new projects on the layout in the past 18 months. Some are small, one is huge. And those of you who follow me probably know what I'm talking about here. The focal scene on the layout, the number one scene on the layout, has now come to life. It's not finished yet, but at least it's getting there. So I'll be able to show you where that's at. Coming up is an operations video, which I'm working on right now. That was motivated by the visit of a good friend of mine, and I really wanted to have an operation session, and I wasn't there yet. I'm still not there yet, but at least I got some of it ready, and we tested the layout, and it's been fun. So look forward to that video coming up, and stay tuned because I will introduce you to my my very good friend at the end of this update video.
Okay, so in terms of updates on the layout, you might have noticed this one right off the bat in my introduction. I am working on the scenery around the Kermit Bridge. It's not finished yet, but I did make a few rock castings here, and I painted the base scenery, put a little bit of some of the base material, getting ready to put in the vegetation, the water eventually, because this will be water here, and the trees also. I have a bunch of trees that in the workshop that I'm working on there that will be part of this scene here. But yeah, that one is coming along pretty nicely. Now I had to remove the bridge to do the scenery, and I did a little bit a little bit of damage on the bridge itself. I'll have to do some construction work on that bridge, but you know, any good bridge deserves its share of reconstruction once in a while. So that is that scene right there at the moment.
And one of my my biggest projects is what's behind me here. It's it's actually so large that I can't even show it all on camera. But if I back up next to it here, you get a sense of how big this project was. I'll switch the camera around and I'll take you closer to the details here. But yeah, this is the Allen Canyon that I've been talking about, that I've been wanting to do on the past 7 layouts that I've built. and I never got to it. I guess I never had the space for it, never had the time and the guts and the technique to just go ahead and build something like this. I will have some step-by-step photos that I'll add right after this this part here, this little explanation. But let me just switch this camera around and I'll show you a little bit more this project of mine.
Okay, so there it is. The Allen Canyon. It's all plaster of Paris castings. Scenery is from floor to ceiling, and I have an 8-foot ceiling here. So yeah, it's quite the project. But my layout needed a focal point, and I think that this is it. This is probably the biggest project I'll ever make in my life, and it was huge. It was a lot of work. I used the some of the Bragdon molds, some of my own molds that I made out of latex rubber. I casted 130 molds, which I put in place here, and then sculpted foam in between. And it's right now it's not even primed. This is just the plaster itself. So I need to put a gesso on there. For those of you who do oil painting, gesso is a sort of a primer that you use on your canvas, and I use gesso on all my rock croppings because it unifies all of the different materials that I use: plaster, Sculptamold, foam. It makes a uniform base for your paint to adhere to. So I'm at that point now where I need to prime this, paint it, and do all the little details to it, and then add all the trees, because it's not going to be tree covered, but I on purpose I made little shelves. They're not very obvious right now because it's all white, but I've made little shelves, little spots here where I can plant a few trees, just to so that it's not just a gray mountain. And of course there'll be fallen rocks and fallen logs and old ties and stuff. And in this area right here, there's going to be a snow shed, which will cut a little bit of the view here of the track intentionally. But yeah, so still lots of work to do here, but a lot of work done, and I'm really happy, really proud of this project. Okay, so here I'll be showing all the different steps that I went through to get this done, starting with the benchwork here. Then I just laid wood on the floor and support for the eventual chicken wire that I added. The chicken wire is used to support my hardshell scenery, along with the cardboard lattice that I used all over the layout. Here you can see I had to do a mix of both because just the lattice was not strong enough. Then I designed a bridge that I wanted to have there and lasered all the parts.
and then I assembled this bridge. So construction method is my usual laser cut laser material with wood, and then just painted everything and put that in place. Then I removed it and completed the covering of the chicken wire and the lattice. And then I proceeded to doing all my rock molds. You can see the amount of plaster of Paris. Those are big bags. And you can see the size of the molds there on my table. So some of these are huge. I then installed all these molds, hot glued them to the base, and then added some expanding foam, isolation foam, which I sculpted. And there you have it. This is before adding the very last bit of plaster.
Okay, hope you enjoyed the step-by-step photos of the construction of the canyon. Moving on to the layout updates. This is a big one for me here. Also, I have finally put some skirting and some carpet all around the layout. I did the entire layout. It really changes the room. It doesn't feel like a basement anymore. It feels more like a room that's part of the house. And I really, really enjoy the comfort that it brings. This place is now so comfortable, and it's nice to be in. As you can see, it really, really looks nice, and it's fun. And for the skirting, I use the mat that you use in landscaping to control weeds in your planters. So that stuff is available, pretty much everywhere, hardware stores, and it's really not expensive. It doesn't look all that good, but it doesn't really matter because it's just a matter of having something here that doesn't distract from the trains, and it does exactly that. And it's really inexpensive. It's light. It's easy to install. I use double-sided tape and a little bit of super glue, and it took me about maybe 4 days to do the entire layout. And the carpet are carpet tiles that I purchased on Amazon, of all places, and it's really nice carpet, comfortable. I did run out. I was not able to finish. I have this little area right here. I need about 2 more boxes, which are on order. By the time I get them, I will finish the carpeting of the layout for a nice, comfortable space here. And now moving on towards operations, which is the goal of building this layout here. So one of the things that I did for operations, on top of having carpet, is labeling the entire layout. I use my vinyl sign cutter. I bought some dark gray vinyl, and I just identified everything, like Chattaway River, the Regis Brook here. I put identification everywhere. At every control location, you will have your direction. So if you take an order or something from RTC, you know which direction you're supposed to go, or you're supposed to ask RTC for. Every station is clearly identified. So that was one of the updates that I wanted to do. And I also decided to go, for the moment, I decided to go with some sort of a waybill. You know, I on my previous layouts, I had waybills and car cards. Those were okay. But for now, I just created little waybills. Those are double-sided, so they're just two-cycle waybills. And there's no car cards. The waybills are just identified, you know, with the car number. I kept it very simple. The car number, the car type, and where it's going. That's it. That's all you need to know. And destinations are all on the layout. There's no, you know, going to Chicago through CNCP via whichever place. It's, you know, this is where it's going and this is on the layout. So that's one thing I did. I made a switch list. And I know a lot of you will say, well, you don't need switch list if you have waybills. Depends on where you work. I know here at QNSNL, when we are on freight trains, we have waybills for all the hazardous good materials. But we have to have a road sheet, which is something like this here. It's just a switch list, and you do your car check. You write down all the car numbers and your train destination and the date and everything else, and you sign it. And this is mostly in case of if you get the spot cars here and there, pickup cars, you keep that updated until you bring it to destination. And then again, if you have a derailment, you need to know where your hazardous goods are in the train. So it's a lot of paperwork on the railroad. So I decided to do something similar, but I simplified it a lot. I also made some little locomotive cards here. So whenever you take a locomotive, you can have the card with you, and the card just, you know, says this is what the number you have to enter in the throttle, and these are your functions. Very simple, very basic. I'm trying to keep everything as simple as possible because I know my operations are already complicated enough because of this. My general instructions, rule book, and timetable, which are combined all into one book here that I've made. English on one side, French on the other. So there's the entire layout is in there in terms of all you need to know to run this layout, to run it, to operate it, both. So I have one of these books here at different intervals on the layout, mostly at every station. And of course there's the waybill pocket. When the train comes in, drop the waybills in, and then the yard crew comes in, marshals the trains and prepares each and every train here. So that's one of the updates. Also, I did add some little commodities like little cup holders that I've put all around the layout, and little shelves, retractable shelves here. And those are very, very practical. When you're working in the yard, you need to set your waybills somewhere to sort them out. And because your throttle, everything else, your radio, I have aprons. I'll show you the aprons in a little minute there. But yeah, that's another thing that I wanted to add to the layout. So pretty much all around the layout, it's like that. You have the identification of the area, the waybill pocket, and your instruction manual. And I'll take you to the yard office, because I've created, well, I tried to create a small yard office. Nothing big, but it's functional. So when you get called on your train, this is the yard office. Just sit down here. It's not very fancy at the moment. I'll probably finish the back of this here so that we don't see all these wires, and sort of box this desk in so that it's cleaner, it looks better. But yeah, here you have your all your forms, which you'll need to operate. Permission to enter mainline, the CTC authorizations. Those are all things that I had printed back in 2022, I believe. It's been a while that I've been preparing for operations. Work order sheets, because work orders are common on railroads. I have a few here that you can see that I written down. See, this is for transfer of a fully serviced caboose to Oak Ridge for work train duty. That was sent to by Rail Traffic Management to Chattaway Falls Yard, which is where the all the cabooses are stored. Because yes, I still use cabooses on work trains. Of course, clipboards with switch lists. I have a bunch of these all around the layout, but I also have some here spare. And in the back of each clipboard, I have a little cheat sheet here that gives all the station abbreviations, because when you're filling out your switch list, you have to give the designation and the starting point and end point of your journey. Train designations and all the dangerous goods, because on the waybills, you get a waybill that says 1203 class 3. Well, you have to know what it is, so you look on the back of your clipboard and oh, it's gasoline. All right, can't put this right behind the locomotive or I'll be in trouble. So yeah, that's on every clipboard. So that's another little improvement that I've made. I've got my radios here. Those are not FRS. I know a lot of people use FRS, and I don't like the FRS. I went with GMRS, which is a different band, just for the single purpose that I wanted to have a base station at my CTC machine. I didn't want my dispatcher to work with a small handheld radio, and with FRS radio I could not find a base station, so I went with GMRS because they have base stations. Of course, these are good for, I think it's 15 miles. So I have to be careful when I'm operating that there are no other users around. But these are not very popular here on the North Shore, so I think I'm good. This here contains all the keys that are needed for my operator. Well, actually the operators only get one key. They get their switch key. This key unlocks every single lock on the layout. I have 14 locks on the layout, and they all use the same key, which is what railroads do. The other keys here are for CNS. Those unlock all the different control panels on the layout, so the operators don't get those. I'm the only one who gets those. In terms of operations, again, because I did print my general instructions back in 2022, the layout has changed since, and it will keep changing. So whenever I need to add an instruction, the way real railroads do is you print out an operating bulletin, and the operating bulletin, it's numbered, it's dated, and it says, like in this case, it's about car movement procedure, and it says, please be advised, a new loading and unloading procedure for the rail car ferry has been done. So you look here, and you have the procedure for rail car ferry. And then if you move on to the next bulletin, because there's a bunch of bulletins, and you keep adding on and adding on. This one is train movement procedure, signal number 12 at Sanmore Subdivision now controls access to the main line coming from Oak Ridge Yard, so it must be considered as an absolute. So signal number 12 is actually this signal right here, which originally was supposed to be just an approach signal to this controlled location here. And because Oak Ridge was just a staging yard, but operating the layout, I realized that Oak Ridge, we can do a lot of operations here also. So I needed a way to control traffic here. So my CTC begins here at mile 1.2. So this signal, for the moment, it has become an absolute. Eventually I will make a controlled location here, but as all railroad that respects their procedures, I had to put out a bulletin for that. So this is the operating bulletins, and these you have to have a copy when you're operating. You have to have a copy of these with you at all times, so that if you have questions, it's all in there. And also with the Rule 568, I'm sorry about camera here. With the Rule 568, when you take a permission to enter main line, Section 2, you have to fill out the GBOs in effect. GBOs are slow orders that are not normally there, and that are there for a very specific reason and for a relatively short time. So these are all the GBOs. They're all numbered. So the RTC will tell you which one applies to your train. So I have all these different GBOs here that you can see. And just to give you an example, let's see, GBO number 15 here. It says do not exceed 10 miles per hour between mile 12.4 and 14.2 on the Sanmore Subdivision. Procedures following maintenance work. So in that area, the maintenance of way changed ties. So there's a 10 mile per hour until this section of track is inspected and it can be put back in service. So that's just an example of a GBO. Those are all different GBOs that I printed, which they don't all apply to all trains because they're on both subdivisions. So if a train is only in the Sanmore Subdivision, you'll get just what applies on the Sanmore. Same on the Lebel Subdivision, or maybe on certain days some of these will apply, others won't, just to have a little bit of variety here. Aprons, I have these nice little aprons made out of denim, and we wear these aprons when we operate. So, there's pockets for your radio, for your throttle, for your pen, your uncoupling pick. You can put your weigh bills and your clipboard in here if you want. That's all for having not having your hands full when you're operating. So you put everything in your apron, and it frees up your hands.
All right, so for those of you who are still not sleeping or still with us, thank you for sticking with us because I have a special treat for you. I would like to introduce you my good friend Daryl Blake. Daryl, welcome to the layout.
Thank you, Serge. It's been a pleasure. Very exciting.
Now, Daryl, you come from far away to visit the Sanmore Subdivision.
Yes.
Tell us where you're coming from.
I've travelled, I think, about close to 17,000 kilometres away. I live in Melbourne, Australia, which is in the very south of our massive continent. And I'm here because my daughter's studying in Toronto, and we've come to visit her, and I've taken the opportunity to chase both the prototype and models. And of course, I've known you for a fair while now, and we've watched the Sanmore Sub grow bit by bit, and it was a bit of a bucket list thing to come and see it. And actually, there it is behind me. I'm here, and man, it's been quite the experience.
Oh, I'm glad you like it. Tell all your friends.
I will. I'll be selling tickets before you know it.
Now, Daryl, you are a model railroader. You're an O-scale model railroader.
I am.
So tell us a little bit about your modeling. What do you model, and how did that come about?
I obviously started out in HO a long time ago.
Yeah.
And there was a modeler called Harry Bender in Melbourne, Australia, and he and other O-scale modelers, they built everything themselves. Those the incredible scratch builders. Yeah. And everything on the layouts was hand built. Locos.
Real craftsmen.
Oh, absolutely. You don't see that sort of craft. Well, you can, but it's not very common nowadays.
Yeah.
And so I saw his layout in 1985, but I did not have the skills to do what these guys were doing. Harry was a fitter and turner, so he knew how to work metal.
Yeah.
And so the O-scale dream sort of, didn't seem possible. So HO came along, and then later, many years later, O-scale models of our local prototypes started to appear, limited run kits and the like, and
for Australian prototype.
For Australian prototype for Victorian railways, which is the state I grew up in,
right?
Or I still live in. And New South Wales Railways, which is the state above Victoria. So one of the weird things about modelling O-scale in Australia, the New South Wales modellers went 7mm scale, the Victorian modellers went 1/48 scale. So the two don't sort of work together.
So different gauge or different
same
scale
gauge,
altogether?
Same gauge,
Same gauge?
but 7mm is the English 1/43.5.
Okay. Where the die-cast vehicles come from, right?
Whereas obviously American O-scale is 1/48. So we ended up with this very strange situation where we couldn't really cooperatively work together.
Right.
Because there was this, when you put 1/43 and 1/48 side by side, it's clear the difference.
It shows. Yeah.
So I had some of the 1/48 scale Victorian Railways models built, and a couple of brass locos were actually produced commercially by, I think it was Sam Hongsa, through a local supplier. And there was also a rail car built, and the kit manufacturer came out with steam locos. And I think now there's around about 30 kits available. So if you want to do O-scale 1/48 scale Victorian, it's quite doable. But the fellow that created the company came out of 1/43rd scale British.
Yeah.
So they're very difficult, you know, etch brass, flat etch brass.
Right.
You've got to shape everything.
Right.
So they are very tough to build. And I had them professionally built. And then I got involved in operations in 2012 with a good friend of mine, Adrian Gunsberg, who runs an SN 3.5 Western Australian Government Railways layout set in 1954. And the operations bug bit big time.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I thought, this is my niche.
Yeah.
So I thought what he was doing on his layout Bunbury, I'd like to do in HO. And I foolishly sold all that Victorian
Oh boy.
O scale.
Oh boy.
And I went back to HO and I started a layout. I had a layout, I designed it, and I started it in my garage, and I had some very definite plans. And the beauty of HO was, unlike O scale, you could model two states together.
Yeah.
Because it was all
Everything.
HO.
Yeah.
Yes.
Everything's the same scale, same
Exactly
size.
right.
Yeah.
And I just, once I started running trains, I realized that I didn't like HO all that much, actually.
When you're an O scaler, you're an O scaler.
It was like playing with motorized mice.
Yeah.
So I actually sold it all, and at that point, I knew getting back into Victorian Railways O scale was going to be very difficult and very costly.
Yeah.
And of course, I've been a fan of American and Canadian railroading for a very long time.
Okay.
And it just seemed the obvious choice. Atlas was producing, engines and cars, and so
Atlas,
I just started.
Atlas and TH Weaver,
Yeah,
you're all
of them.
putting it all out there.
I had actually built a little tiny O scale layout in a spare bedroom using Weaver RS3s
Nice.
and rolling stock.
Yeah.
And I thought, this is the way to go. And of course, the North American O-scale bug bit. And at the moment, I'm building a layout in a two-car garage in my home, this part of my home back in Australia.
Yeah.
It's only 17 by 19, but...
Well, only. You can't say only. That's still a lot of space.
By comparison to where I'm sitting at the moment. And I with the getting involved with a great modeler here in Canada, Pete Mulvaney, and operating his layout remotely, his quite sizable O-scale layout, which was all based around operations, short line operations. And I was actually running that layout from 16,500 kilometres away at my dining room table. Running the locos on his layout with cameras in the locos and cameras on. It was sensational.
Through Zoom and everything.
Oh, yeah, it was amazing. I mean, he even set up his iPhone to sound like a radio. So I would actually have to push a button and talk to each other.
Nice.
And that was it. I was just 100% committed. Started this layout in my garage, which is basically, it's a short line, but I just thought if I built one level, it would be, pretty much just switching. So I've gone double deck, and I copied a layout that was in a magazine in Australia, a magazine for 7mm scale New South Wales modelers.
So it was an easy transformation.
Yeah, look, it was. I had to fit it into a smaller space, and thank God for curved turnouts. And Brad Strong, its Signature Switch company in the United States, has supplied these magnificent quality turnouts. And on top of that, originally it was all going to be DCC. Because obviously working Pete's layout and Adrian's layout, they were both DCC. And then I discovered dead rail, and I really was reluctant to wire a layout because I would look under my friends' layouts and see the spaghetti bowl of wiring.
And when something goes wrong, good luck.
And electrically, I'm a dunce. So suddenly, dead rail made all the sense in the world. And I converted to Atlas MP15s. One's a dummy with batteries and receiver and aerial,
Right.
and the other one has the motor,
The power.
decoder is the power, and
Yeah.
both have 1925 Tang band speakers in them, so
Nice.
they sound absolutely delicious when
Yeah.
they're running together.
Yeah.
So that's where I'm at. I'm working on this layout, and I'm hoping to have full track laid by the end of this year. And sitting in here and having operated the Sanmore Sub today, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back and stop procrastinating.
Put a
and
little juice
Yeah.
in your battery, right?
you've lit the fire. So
That's the whole point.
yeah. So
Now you, of course, like you said, you got the operation bug after living through an operation session, but it stems from way deeper than that because you spent your life as a professional railroader.
yes.
Why don't you take us through that journey?
I started in railway industry in 1979. Literally came from the country where I grew up, and started as a trainee. What we call a driver is our engineer.
Yeah.
We're locomotive drivers or locomotive enginemen, as we
Right.
were called at the time.
Yeah.
And I became a trainee engineman, and I worked my way up through the ranks. But just before I was due to qualify, after about 4 years, a friend of mine had started a business involved in other things, and he offered me something too good to refuse, and so I took it, and I left the rail industry, and I didn't return until 2005.
Okay. So
And
there was a pause
Oh,
there.
quite a pause, yeah.
Okay.
And I ended up initially as managing freight terminals,
Okay.
and that was quite a full-on job.
Yeah, I
But-
can just imagine.
They wanted us to multi-skill, so one day I ended up in the boss's office, and he said, I want you to learn to drive trains again.
Yep.
And I already knew how they all worked from my previous years, and I'd had an interest. Have had a love of trains all my life, so
Yep.
it wasn't like I left and forgot about it.
No.
I still
No.
modelled. I still
It was
read.
still in your blood.
Yeah, it was definitely still.
It
in the
never
blood.
leaves. It
And
never
when the
leaves.
opportunity came up to go back, I was there in a flash. And so I trained up and became a driver again. Qualified after a few years. It was a slow burn because my job was to manage terminals,
Yep.
and finally re-qualified. And then the company I was working for actually closed down in Victoria,
Okay.
and so I just became a full-time driver.
Yep.
And that lasted till 2014, and unfortunately I came unwell for certain reasons, and I left. But the love of trains never did, and probably never will.
It never dies.
No.
No. Even on a bad day.
Yeah,
Let me tell you.
it's certainly an obsession. So. And I'm sitting here what would to me is probably one of the most phenomenal O-scale layouts I've ever seen.
Oh, thank you. I
And
appreciate
I
that.
know you've got a long way to go,
Oh, yeah.
and when
Got
this
a
thing
lot
is
to do still.
well, when this is finished, it'll be museum. I mean, your work in my eye is museum quality.
Oh, thank you. Thank you
I've
so
seen
much.
a lot of layouts, and you're right up there with the best, mate.
Oh,
So,
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
It's good to have feedback because
and the ops session today, just working how you do it and how you see operating, and you try to bring it as close as possible to the real experience, because
Yeah.
you are a locomotive driver, as we
Yeah.
know, and handle trains way beyond anything I've ever driven, and I just love how you're incorporating that. I'm very much. It's not just about going from A to B. For me, I like all the mutiny that happens in between.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to me, it's a complex role-playing game. It's a 3D art form,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a complex role-playing game. And I like the layers.
Yes.
Obviously, there's got to be a cut-off point. But I love today. Has been a very big learning experience, and I'm already a very experienced operator.
Yeah.
I've been operating layouts for 14 years now
Yeah.
in running it as realistically as possible, as we do with Bunbury back in back in Australia.
Yeah.
But even today, you know, I've seen other layers I can add to my layout when it's operational.
Oh,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
I love the fact that you're very open-minded to running a railroad, a mall railroad, just like the real railroad.
Yes.
And a lot of people are reluctant to all the paperwork. They say, "Oh, that's too much work, too much paperwork." And and I love the analogy that you brought up that if you play in Monopoly, you have a set of rules. You
Yes.
play by the rules. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense.
Doesn't work.
And it's the same for our railroads. I mean, you have to play by the rules.
Yes,
So you need
absolutely.
rules.
Yes.
And I just love the way you brought that up.
Well, for me, unless you're a collector or your love is just scratch building, to me, they're just inanimate objects. Operation brings them to life.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
and to me, that's the whole point. Why have motors in them
yeah.
if you...
Why spend so much money on exactly, on locomotives, on
Yes.
sound, on DCC,
Yes.
on everything else if it's just a
Yeah.
static model?
And look, nothing against people that want to run in circles. It's whatever lights your fire. But
Exactly.
my fire's lit by intense operations.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
So,
It brings us back to our livelihood of what we
Yes.
used to live
Yes.
or what we're living on the real railroad.
yep.
And some people may appreciate that, some people may not.
No, and
It
for
all-
me, it brings me close. I loved driving trains.
Yeah.
I reluctantly left,
Yeah.
and it brings me back close to that. And it's a combination for me of running, managing terminals, and as well as running trains.
Yes.
I had both.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I love it to be in depth. I like the levels.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you enjoyed the AI dispatcher.
The AI dispatcher was priceless.
Rachel was not here today, guys. So for those of you who are looking for Rachel in the introduction, no, Rachel was a one-time deal. But Vinetta, the real Vinetta, my wife, she's interested in becoming dispatcher for the railroad to help me enjoy my hobby, because that's just her nature. But I did create an AI version of Binetta through AI for the dispatching of the railroad. And we really put her to the test today.
Sure
And
did.
amazingly enough, I was surprised at how well it went.
It was, yeah, I was very, at first, suspect of what might happen, but
Yeah, so was I.
but my God, it was like talking to a dispatcher.
Yep.
And
Yep.
okay, there were little errors, but
Yeah, of course. There's
It
always room for
it
improvement.
was fantastic. I could see that program one day,
Yeah.
AI Dispatcher by Serge Lebel. And yeah, and once again, it just, otherwise it would just you and me in here and saying, okay, well, let's fill out this form and I'm dispatcher and I'll say this,
Yeah.
this and this and you do this,
Yeah,
and
it's role play again,
Yeah.
but you're wearing too many hats. As
yes,
where
yes.
you can leave the RTC hat to someone else, and
Yes.
it's out of your control. You
And-
just call RTC, and you get what you get.
Yeah, no, that was it was quite amazing, and just added a whole nother layer. It was like we were talking to someone who was
Yeah.
somewhere else.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, fantastic.
That was
that's,
fun.
That's cutting edge.
Yeah.
That's cutting edge. You know, and that's the beauty of this hobby. There are guys and girls, as we know about Sarah
Yes.
and over in Europe.
Yes.
3D printing, all these things that are being done to advance the hobby.
Amazing,
And-
amazing modelers.
Oh,
Amazing
yeah.
modelers.
And yourself, coming up with the AI dispatcher, and who knows, in a year or two, that could be the thing. And
hopefully it will be. I mean, AI is progressing slowly.
Yes.
Right now, I'm using ChatGPT. It's not designed for that. It's a bit limited.
Yeah.
You have to train it, and it forgets, because that's the way the system works.
yes.
But hopefully, ChatGPT or AI will progress to a point where we can really use dispatchers, AI dispatchers, and have, serious conversations and everything formal and everything by the book.
Yep.
it's getting there. I think it's getting there.
It is, and maybe one day, you know, the whole railroad will be able to be controlled by AI and signals and all that.
It's a possibility for
yeah.
sure. It's not a possibility for me here because of my CTC machine,
Yes.
which is all manual.
Yes.
Unless I buy an AI robot.
Give it time.
Yeah, and I could have it wash my dishes while
Yeah.
I'm playing with trains.
Mow the lawn.
But who knows? But for the people that have the computer GMRI and the computer dispatchers, geez, you can have AI jump in there.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I know
Yeah.
it's a possibility
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah, absolutely. You today proved that.
Yep.
And
Yep. It's
just-
amazing.
It's just the
what-
beginning.
it is, exactly.
And like anything, you know, when 3D printing started, it was very primitive, it was very rough. And now what 3D printers are spitting out, what people are designing,
Yep.
you know, not even injected molded plastic comes close anymore. You
no.
know, 3D printing is the cutting edge, and
Yep.
I've seen some.
And people are learning.
Yes,
People are
rapidly.
oh, holy crap! It's
Yeah.
it's amazing what people
Rapidly.
are doing today.
And they're sharing, which is
Yes.
fantastic. You go to places like Thingiverse,
Thingiverse,
and
yeah.
guys
Yeah.
and girls are designing things, and then they just go, yeah, it's on Thingiverse, go for your life.
Yep.
And that's what's also great about the hobby. They're not going, no, it's mine.
Yeah.
They're
Right.
just everyone's sharing, and
Yeah.
you know, you're getting access to things that, particularly in O scale, which don't exist
Yep.
outside of 3D printing.
Yep.
And it's often little things like air conditioning units and gas bottles and
Yeah.
pilots for locos, and you know, all those sorts of little things that can take a lot of time to make.
Yep.
And we all know, I mean, especially yourself, how long building a good sized model railroad
Takes a lot of your time.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
a lot of money. And
Yep.
yeah, and who's up for sitting around at the table making gas bottles? You
Exactly.
know, when someone,
Scratch building is fun, and it's
It
a big
is.
it's a
It
big
is.
part of the hobby, and it'll I think it'll always be part of
yes,
the hobby.
yes,
But it's changing a little bit. It's, you know, we're shifting towards technology, but I mean, if you look around, there's a lot of stuff here that is still scratch built with
Yes.
nothing but an X-Acto knife, because
yes,
that's what I enjoy. That's what I did all my life. But I do like having the flexibility of designing that little part and printing out on my 3D printer and have
Yes.
that part just perfect.
yes.
And
that's right.
it's you know,
And you can make one of them, or you can make 100 of them.
Yep.
You know, it's entirely up to you.
Exactly.
And, but you know, for me, it's about operations. It's about recreating something that I experienced every work day of my working
absolutely.
life. you
And
know.
I think that's the end goal for most of us.
Yeah.
We all enjoy building, but I think many of us enjoy operating,
Yes.
and we
yes,
want to create the layout and finish it so we can operate it.
Yes. Absolutely. And you know, today's been quite, even with all my operational experience, I've learned more. And that's what I love about this hobby. I love the camaraderie,
Yeah.
and I love to learn, and I love to see what other modelers are doing. A day or two ago, I visited Tony Custer's Nickel Plate Road down in New Jersey,
Yeah.
and I saw a lot of things there, and you know, phenomenal
That's
layout.
a model railroad god. I mean,
Absolute gentleman. Yeah,
Yep,
a
yep.
delightful day. And
Yep.
today I'm with you for a few days. I've flown thousands of kilometres to come visit Sir. Come and visit him. He treats you like an absolute king. The food is magnificent.
Well, thank you. I love cooking almost as much as I love model railroading. So.
Well, you're very good at both.
Oh, thank you.
But no, it's been fantastic, and I'm keen. I'm not keen to go home because I'm enjoying myself traveling in Canada and America, but I'm keen to go home because the fire's relit. I had
Yeah.
stalled a bit in
Yeah.
building my layout, but now,
Great.
the hunger is just right there now. And I
Fantastic.
want to go home and get stuck into it.
So what's in the future for you now?
In regards to the layout, or
Layout and
okay, well the layout, there's a fair way to go, but when I get going, I will do 8-hour days, you know, and just
Yeah.
get it done.
Yeah.
And that's what's been missing.
Yeah.
And I want to put together, I've spoken to a few guys about what I call hardcore ops, which is what I think you do.
Yep.
And they're very keen to get involved
Good.
and
That's
operate
fantastic.
a model railroad as close, you know, with limitations, but try and make the experience and make it multi-layered.
Yeah.
So there's that, but at the same time, I've also come to the conclusion that in the actual models themselves, there's got to be a cut-off point for me, in that when is it good enough that you don't need to add every pipe and every dial and everything,
Right.
and because that's not what lights my fire. The ops light my fire.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I love doing.
Yeah.
So I've decided that I've created a point where that's
good enough.
That's what I need.
That's it.
It looks the part.
Yeah.
Runs well, and I don't need that last piece of piping on the side there.
Right.
I've also I've joined as tourist railway,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd like to get my driver's ticket back, as we call it in Australia,
Okay.
and just drive tourist trains when I feel like it.
Nice.
Diesel hauled
Nice.
tourist trains. I won't.
That's a good retirement project.
Yeah,
right
yeah,
there.
it'll be just fun. I'm retired. I still write.
Yeah.
I'm a qualified trained writer, but
Yeah.
I will be. I'll be putting in a couple of days a month up there.
Nice.
It's a great tourist railway, the Yarra Valley Railway. If you ever make it to Australia,
Okay.
very soon it will become one of the premier tourist railways in the country.
Is that
and
so?
It's in the beautiful Yarra Valley outside of Melbourne. Absolutely
Okay.
glorious wine growing region.
Oh, nice.
Great food, great wine,
Yeah.
and we hope to run wine trains. It's only short. The 2009 Black Saturday bushfires did a lot of damage.
Oh, I can just
And
imagine.
so
Yeah.
it's taken an enormous amount of effort by the people up there to get it back
Up
to a
and running.
point where it's going to be phenomenal. There's a group of people running it that are super smart, super sharp, and they've really made a massive difference. Otherwise, besides doing a bit of work here and there, I spend a lot of time involved with people in model railways.
Because that's a big part of the
It
hobby.
is. As I said to you, I go to exhibitions,
Yeah.
and I spend more time talking to people I know,
Yeah.
ex-drivers, drivers that are still driving,
Yeah.
friends, modelers.
Yeah.
Exhibitions are just a social event for me.
Right. They're just a reason for you to be there. But
Yeah, I actually might look at a layout or two or buy something, but it's predominantly about communication and
Yeah.
catching up. And
Yeah.
So I love the hobby, and I'm here in Sept-Îles. Sept-Îles, sorry. You know, so far from home, and Tony Custer, and I've seen another layout, and I've chased a lot of trains, but videotaped on my phone a lot of trains,
Yeah.
and in between catching up with friends, which
Yep.
has also been wonderful,
Very
and my
important.
daughter.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been great, and you know, I don't want to leave. I'm happy to move in. If
You're
you need a
welcome to stay
housekeeper.
for as long as you
If
want.
need a housekeeper.
Does that mean you'll be here when I come home from work in 4 days?
Well, I'll be doing the work. You just tell me what you need finished, and I'll go to work. That's how I pay the rent.
Well, it's been a pleasure having you,
Thank you.
as a visitor. It's
Yep.
been a delight to have you as a friend,
Yes.
and it's been motivating to have you as an operator on the railroad, because, as you know, I haven't done much operations, so you were sort of my guinea pig.
Yep.
So I couldn't have chosen a better person.
Thank you. No, it's been an honour actually. I must admit, I didn't know where I was going, and thankfully you came and helped me out in the yard, because I haven't learnt the railroad yet.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so
it can be overwhelming.
yes, it's a big railroad.
Yeah.
And it's a big scale, and you know, I thought yep, I've got this, and then I realised I didn't know which way was what. Thankfully, you came to my rescue before I really messed it up. No, it's been fantastic, and I know you're part of our international Zoom group.
Yes.
And I think, you know, this has given us an opportunity to move from acquaintances to friends. And obviously, you know, hopefully one day you'll come to Australia and I can return the kindness.
Can I get there by train?
Not yet.
Then
Maybe
I'm not
one day
going.
there'll be
I'm not going.
a tunnel under the Pacific Ocean, but until then, I won't speak to the Chinese about that. But yeah, no, been a fabulous honour.
I appreciate the
and it'll be hard to leave tomorrow afternoon when I fly off, and I'm glad that I put in the effort to get here. You know,
and I'm honoured that you
thank you.
You travelled all that distance just to see my little layout
I don't know about little, but and I'll probably always be the person that's travelled the furthest, unless I can get a whole heap of Australians to come over.
I think you got
so
the
I've
record.
got the record at the
Definitely. Well, thanks again,
Thank
Daryl.
you.
It's been a pleasure.
Absolutely, you too, and I won't forget this.
All right,
I definitely won't forget it.
I appreciate it.
Yep, and I've taken so many photographs and video.
That's great.
No,
share with everyone.
I'm going to go home.
It's all about the
sharing.
sharing.
Watch it, and that's going to motivate me to get my layout completed. Yes.
Oh, that's great.
So thank you.
That's great. Well, thank you very much.
Okay, no worries.
Riding the rails under the moon's glow, wearing my hat with a cigarette in my toe. Loneliness wraps around like a cold night, but I keep moving, got a dream to fight. Pass by the towns, they're all asleep, hoping for a place where I can rest. A train whistle breaks the silence deep, chances to meet some who understand. Sometimes I find a spot to call home, in a boxcar or on a lonely bench. Hope flickers like a flame in the dawn. With strangers, we share what we can.